Welcome to the Power Zone Podcast. It is July 4th, 2017, Independence Day in the United States. And we're about a week away now we are 1 week away from the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And the rosters of the All-Star Game have been released in the American League. Justin Smoak will be your first baseman, the Toronto Blue Jays. A couple of Astros are on there, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, second baseman, Jose Altuve, shortstop, Carlos Correa. Here, third baseman is Jose Ramirez, who I believe was the last out of the World Series, if I remember right. No, he wasn't. Okay, he wasn't. Salvador Perez, the Royals catcher, he's going to be also in the All-Star Game. Aaron Judge, here comes the Judge, 27 home runs in his so far in the year, and he's going to be making his first appearance in the All-Star Game. And Mike Trout, who is scheduled to play, but he will not be participating in the game, so that's a big loss for baseball fans everywhere that he will not be participating. He will not be participating in the game. George Springer, Corey Dickerson of the Rays will be the first American League designated hitter in the post-Big Papi David Ortiz era of baseball, and that's his first appearance. The American League pitchers who are on here are obviously some of the best, but Chris Sale, Yu Darvish, Corey Kluber, who started in the World Series, I believe 3 games for Cleveland last year, and Yu Darvish, Severino, the Yankees, Dallas Keuchel, the ace of the Houston Astros staff, and the reserves are very good in their own right. Starlin Castro, the Yankees second baseman, Miguel Sano, the Twins are getting a representative, Mookie Betts, an actual representative, Mookie Betts of the Red Sox, who will probably end up replacing Mike Trout in the All-Star Game. Nelson Cruz, the former Ranger, will also be DH, and usually in the All-Star Game, these players don't play all 9 innings. They usually take an at-bat or 2, play about 3 innings, and then the reserves take over, and that way everybody at least gets a turn. And it'll be interesting this year. The All-Star Game does not count for the World Series. The team with the best record will get home field advantage in the World Series. It's probably the way that it should have been from the beginning. And the National League, we got a couple of nationals on there. Ryan Zimmerman, first baseman. Daniel Murphy, the second baseman. Zach Cozart of the Reds making his first appearance at shortstop. Colorado Rockies on here. Nolan Arenado, the best catcher in the game. Buster Posey, he's in there. He will be starting a catcher. And Bryce Harper, who people have talked about him joining Chris Bryant and the Cubs forming a super team. But considering how Bryce Harper, this free agency, is projected to become the first $400 million man, ouch, I don't think that's going to happen. But it's fun to dream about, at least. But even Marcell Ozuna, the Marlins get a home field outfielder to participate. Marcell Ozuna, he will also participate. And the pitchers for the National League, Clayton Kershaw, obviously best curveball in the game right now. Strasburg. Wade Davis is the Cubs representative. I believe he is the sole Cub representative this year, which is incredible considering how many representatives the Cubs had last year with their best record in baseball. And also some of the reserves for the National League. Giancarlo Stanton, the guy who can hit a baseball a mile, and certainly will be getting some loud cheers in front of the home fans of Miami. And so we got those basics of the home run of the All-Star Game, and those are basically the representatives that have caught my attention so far. And it should be exciting, and the All-Star Game is always the best ones out of the major sports, I do believe, even though the NBA, if you like offense, if you don't like defense, the NBA All-Star Game is probably for you. But at least this game will be exciting, and it will be fun. I do try to catch it every year just because it is baseball. It is the first All-Star game, and it is the best All-Star game. And a bit of trivia. Who hit the first home run in the history of the All-Star game? I will save that for the end of the podcast. I want to talk as well, the Home Run Derby, which will be held the day before the All-Star game. And some of the representatives that will be participating in that will be Aaron Judge of the Yankees. He's going to be a participant in the Home Run Derby, and I cannot wait to see him smash baseballs all over Marlins Park. That's a big park, but he's going to make that park look very, very small, and it will be very exciting. Take a look, if I can pull up it's a big park, one of the newer parks in the game, Marlins Park, and I wonder how many balls will make it out to dead center. It's got a capacity of about 36,000 people. We pulled up, so they were going to be at max capacity, I imagine, for this festive environment, Marlins Park in Miami. Of course, the Marlins, for a long time, when they were winning the World Series, they played their games in Dolphin Stadium, the home of the Dolphins. Put them in a football stadium, and then only time that upper deck was ever used was when the Marlins were seemingly in October. But now they have a baseball park of their own to match, and it is going to be an exciting time. But the Home Run Derby, Aaron Judge smashing balls out to dead center, that's going to be fun. And so we're trying to pull up the dimensions of the park. And so we're going to keep talking here about how I've been thinking about, this is July 4th, and we're coming up soon on July 20th. What is so special about July 20th? That July 20th, 2004 was the day of the release of ESPN NFL 2K5, still the greatest modern-day football game of all time. It was so great that EA had to sign exclusive rights away and from 2K, so they couldn't make another NFL game, and then took the ESPN license from them as well. It makes no sense to me why EA only uses the ESPN license on NBA Live, a game that nobody buys. 2K is just so much better. Even looking at it from afar, 2K is better. But it's going to be, that game was so ahead of its time and so innovative. I enjoyed the presentation, obviously, Chris Berman introducing your games. The announcers were awesome. Still the best announcers, I think, in the history of football gaming. And it will be, that game is, I bought it multiple times simply because it's awesome. And like I said, my three favorite games are probably Madden 92 with the ambulance, and ESPN NFL 2K5, and probably Madden 25 for the modern era. I had to have a game from this era. It's got to be Madden 25. But Madden, now that they have the NFL license, wins by default every year because there is no more competition in NFL gaming. And with that, I think I have said enough here, and I think I'm going to say goodbye to this one. But 2005 for sports gaming, not just NFL 2K5, but also NBA Live 2005, where you had the slam dunk contest was in there for the first time. NBA 2K5 had the association, which was a new twist on franchise mode that had never been seen before. NHL 2K5 was awesome in its own right. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, the announcers, and MVP Baseball 2005. Who can forget MVP Baseball 2005? The owner mode, the dynasty mode, and that game was great in its own right. If you played your card right as an owner, you could sit in a brand spanking new, nice, glorious ballpark, which I never got to play in that game, but it looks very nice in its own right. They did a good job with that mode and it's as well. And Madden 2005, how could I forget Madden 2005 as well? I Love the owner mode. I love you could take a team like a terrible team and move them elsewhere. I took the Cleveland Browns and moved them to LA, and now the LA Sugar Buzz are trying to win a championship before the LA Raiders and the LA Chargers do. But that's going to be, and that's why 2005 was a great year for gaming, and I wonder if we will ever get back to those times of gaming. Hopefully we do. The technology is more advanced now than ever, but hopefully some of the fun gets back in there too. We need to stop being so serious all the time with our gaming. Bring the fun back. Make the games fun. That's what the games should be about, right? At least I think so. But that's going to be it for now. I think I've said enough. But anyway, I'm going to sign off now, and I want to say goodbye and happy July 4th. Celebrate responsibly, and I think I'm going to sign off for now. The answer to the trivia question is Babe Ruth hit the first home run at Comiskey Park in Chicago at the 1933 All-Star Game.